of Beavis and Butthead. No, sorry, Boris Yeltsin, who was the first king of independent. Just beautiful. And everything in a beautiful town is not beautiful when there are fucking vandals. And there's a parliament of Estonia. Sadly, the most wicked and evil place in this country. Welcome to Stonehenge. Today we are exploring some markets, a shopping mall, a Tallinn old town, and I will show you places that I love, that are fascinating for me, and let's have a nice time. So this store is a failure because it's a grill, but it's so beautiful, so well designed. And if you look at those stones that are over here on both sides, I am going to put them into my house when I will build a new house. So keep subscribed on this channel. Problem with the shopping malls is that no one ever looks at the ceiling, and we tend to forget how beautiful they are. And these stones are also quite fascinating. We have actually those in our bathroom, as I built a dazzle bathtub, so we have exactly the same German limestones in our toilet. But sadly, they have been covered with cement. Cement is not a good companion for them. But these are so beautiful stones. And I love the design of this restaurant. You can see some cucumbers, tomatoes, pickles. But here was, and today is a Valentine's Day, so people will be going out in restaurants, having dinners or lunches, men bringing roses and other stuff to their women. Behind my back is David, which is a place where you can purchase silver and gold. So you can see, understand, there are different 1 ounce fine gold, 1 ounce fine silver, etc. Here's a koala and philharmoniker, but this is the cool one, the wyvern or the dragon, and Charles Tree of Australia. So this is a nice place. When I have some cash, I come here, I purchase myself some silver and gold. It's just a way of gathering riches in life. And the Lunar Legend series and Rabbit the Bump. The highway to heaven. The stairway is from the 60s, but highway 2025 into the heaven. So here you can get some orange juice. But the scandal is that in Estonia, the orange juice is 7 euros a liter. In Finland, you can get 1 liter for 4 euros. That's crazy because Finland is much more wealthier country than Estonia. Here's some funny graffiti on the streets. This place is an old train station, and here used to be an outdoor market, but nowadays it has moved indoors, and there are some tennis courts. So, old train station, what can you do? And a bar, yeah. We are not in Louvre in Paris, but we are in Tallinn, where there is similar structure. But thing that I love, this is an old storage and warehouses, and they have modernized it and made it into the Baltiama market, a market full of fruits and people selling antiques and other stuff. So let's make a little tour. And those tiles that the pavement has been made of, they are so beautiful. Usually I'm not that fan of cement products, but these are actually beautiful. And here's a huge glass door or window. So this place is always busy. Okay, today a little bit less busy than usually, but full of goods. Like this is a bakery. You can have sourdough bread and all kinds of other stuff that people are selling and offering. Fruits and groceries. honey, meat. And in the second floor, there are knittery, a second-hand antique stores, everything that you desire. And we come here to fill our bags, to fill our refrigerator with nice food, like the olive oil behind my back. And there's always a lot of people, and it's a mixed place. So here's a lot of tourists, a lot of locals, and in our country there's two kinds of people: the Estonian ones and the Russians. So 2/3 the Estonians and 1/3 the Russians. And this is our favorite store. This is Biomarket. Here you can purchase organic stuff and organic foods. So this is our main place of shopping and of groceries, because most of the food in today's world is just poisoned. Over here are places you can dine out, fast food, really fast food, and extra fast food, and the place where they offer coffee, and they make one of the best coffee in the town, and it's called Surf Cafe. I really recommend come here and enjoy a cup of coffee, the best in the town. And sometimes we come here to have some veggie burgers with children, as we are committed vegetarians for our practical and ethical reasons. These columns are magnificent, made from steel and painted red. And when you look upwards, you can see this spaciousness in these old warehouses that now have been made into the modern space where people do their business, go around, shop. And of course, all the people here are not those who are going to shop, but those who are selling or offering their services. And outside, there are little houses, little restaurant houses or boutiques. There's, for example, a shop where you can purchase cigarettes and everything that you can smoke. There's a shop where you can purchase spices, and there's also a fish section for the whole market. So it's just a full experience, and aesthetically, like this architecture over here, this is beautiful. I think it's one of the most dynamic city spaces that I have ever seen in my life. So this side is for the butchery and for the burgers. So this is the ethical side of violence and the murder. I hope people will stop supporting this side of the market. But for that long, I hope that those people who are selling their stuff, they will earn their living. It's a two-sided axe, I must say. Here also, you can see how hangar-like it is. Like you could have an airplane or a train over here, and you can repair it, you can restore your airplane. But over there, there's a vintage store, some Christmas lights, a propeller. Yes, I said trains, but you see airplanes instead. So there's a lot of handwork, knitted stuff, but then there's a lot of some Chinese scrap that they are selling, and some freaking stuff that they are selling only to tourists. So there's a lot of crap that is being sold to tourists. And here's a place where you can get your shoes and your clothes fixed. So that's a nice place. And then there you can have old clothes, old furniture and cutlery. And there's a fox. This part of the market is true bazaar. As you can see, it's like a tunnel of Chinese scrap that you can purchase that is cheap, made by child labor, and mostly just is destroyed in a short time. So just enjoy the bazaar. Now we are saying our goodbyes to the market, and this roof leads to the My Fitness. This is a sporting gym that is really popular in this country, and it's still beautiful to see those old limestone houses. The architectural marvel of the train station. This is the main train station in Tallinn. Here's a lot of filth and a lot of filthy people come over here, sadly. Otherwise it would be a nice place. And here you can see there's a lot of train connections. And there used to be a train before the Ukrainian war that you could go to Moscow. This is the entrance to the Tallinn Old Town. And you can see it's up on the hill. They're beautiful houses, and there's a parliament of Estonia. Sadly, the most wicked and evil place in this country. But let's enjoy the beauty of this alley. The property prices over here are around, I think this house could be around 8 to 10 million euros, because they are rare, you cannot build them anymore, and they're beautiful. Like I heard this offer that there was 2 million euros, similar house than this, but it was totally wrecked and erected from the inside, so it needed a lot of restoration. But most houses here are just fabulous. And I know that around 25 years ago, you could have a house in the old town for around 15,000 euros. It was around 200 to 300,000 kroner that we used as a valuta in the past. And you can see the flag of Sweden, that they are still using kroner as their valuta, as the money that they are using. And here's actually an hotel and restaurant. I have been there a few times. Not in a bed, not in a hotel, but in a restaurant. Here you can see the gates of the puppet theater. I just love this plaster work over here. This detail, this coloring, this beauty. This is the Museum of Puppetry Arts. And actually they have theater over here, as every child in this country has been to the puppet theater over here. So this is just a fascinating place, full of joy, full of children, full of love, full of life. And everything in a beautiful town is not beautiful when there are fucking vandals going and ruining the beautiful historical housing. So if I would catch them, I would castrate them, put their balls hanging on the walls, so people could know what has happened. And there's a beautiful shop for men's clothing. And on this street there are some Astrid Lindgren like colors on the houses. This creamy red and green, like David or William Morris, sorry, like the tapestry of William Morris. And there's a church. You can actually have an elevator in that church and go to the top of the church. That's crazy. A modern church with an elevator, and no one is hitting the bell when it hits 12 o'clock. And this is my favorite passageway. You can go through it and you will see the main square over there in the backwards. And here's a chocolate stop, a chocolate shop. Today it was closed because they are open only on the weekends. And here's a cinnamon roll shop, which is also really nice. You can have your buns and your coffee. But this passageway is full of chocolate buns, and here used to be a vinyl record store where you could purchase some of the best music in this world. And here we come to the square, to the central square of the old town, full of spruce trees on this very moment. It's just a manifestation of Christmas, I must say. There's a lot of beautiful houses and restaurants which are with a poor quality. This is a rarity nowadays. An old bookstore. They are full of old books. I have purchased many from here. I have found some of my most favorite books ever. Oh, it's closed for some reason today. The exterior of that house is just beautiful. Those stone carvings in down of the windows, the stone balcony and the doorway. They're just magnificent apartment or house over there. And the one on the left is also really beautiful with this pink color, but then they have this Indian flag. But the middle one, you can see you can rent your own place over there. So from there you can go to the Freedom Square, and over here it's an ice skate ring. People are ice skating and enjoying their time together as they come enjoy the pleasures of the winter. I had this friend who lived in Israel, and you know, Israel is a warm country, and he was playing ice hockey in Israel, in the only ice rink that they have in Israel, and he was playing in that local ice hockey team. And 15 years later, he was living in Finland and saying that Finnish women are the most beautiful women in the world. And I said, shut up. The Estonian women are the most beautiful in the world. And that's a fact. So, the Estonian cities and Estonian women, they both are beautiful and they are nice to see and nice to look at. When you enjoy the winter pleasures with aesthetic, beautiful architecture on your background, there's nothing so nice and pleasurable. But I don't understand why they are wearing those helmets over there. Why the heck, when you are doing hobby ice skating, you should not wear a helmet, but you can just enjoy it. Like, I was born ice skates on my feet. My children were born ice skates on their feet. So, ice is the place that we enjoy. The cold is the place where we come from. And here's a cinema. There's a club, Hollywood, and the cinema called Friendship, Kinosõprus. And in this square, we have made it to the high point of Stalinistic architecture, as this house was supposed to be the greatness that a Soviet culture can hold. And they built a huge cinema with beautiful columns and Art Deco crafting and trying to refurbish the past that was lost during the Soviet times. Because Tallinn was a pivotal moment that Soviet power unleashed itself in this world. The Estonian army was almost occupying St. Petersburg, at that time known as Leningrad. But the British Navy came to the port of Tallinn and said, we will bombard the city into pieces if you will not withdraw your forces from St. Petersburg. So, sadly, the British Empire aided in the war crimes of Soviet Union. You can see some beautiful Estonian First Republic romantic architecture that they try to romanticize the past and have some national glory enriched into the architecture. It's the drama theater of Tallinn. And over there, there's the modern shopping mall. So next to the national treasure. Over there is the National Opera and Ballet Theater called Estonia. Only one thing is wrong with that house, and is that it is based next to such huge road. And here's the Solaris Center, a shopping center, shopping mall full of boutiques, and they have sewage problem here because this place stinks like sewer, like shit, you know. When you look down, there's another bio market and a cafe. One of the problems is that people forget to look at the ceilings. How do the ceilings look like in the malls? So this country is crazy because it has more square meters of shopping malls per person than any other country in this world. So that's crazy fact that I just remembered. So this place is the epicenter for the annual Black Nights Film Festival. because in November it's so dark in this country that we tend to watch movies in cinema. So we have a internationally renowned film festival, and we call it PÖF, Pimedate Ööde Filmi Festival. And there's a cinema upstairs, and there's plenty of space actually. It's a place where you can come and hang around with other people. Should the shopping malls be the place where people come and hang around, or should we build and nurture community buildings and community houses that people would not come just mindlessly hanging around in shopping malls, but actually engaging with their local communities? That's a question that I proposed for you. I really love this interior space. As you can look to the street and those chairs and tables, it's very glossy over here. And aquarium, you come here, you contemplate, you dine, and then you move on. And over here you can see as well space, the space of a beautiful cafe. And you can see the opera house and the hotel that was built in the 80s, the Viru Hotel. As my father came for the first time to Estonia, he went to that hotel because he's from Finland, and he had a car. He had like a new nice car, and all the people came there to stare at his car because people over here were not used to the Western commodities and Western cars, vehicles, etc. So they were so fascinated. Of course, nowadays it all has changed. The prices over here are higher than in Finland. So that's a progress. Then you can enjoy some pizza and salad when you have these amazing views, of course. And the funny thing is that that the flooring is so nice over here. You can see the pattern in the wood. There is something about the design of that store. There is this black color and darkness that you can see. It is somehow fascinating and sucks you in. It shows out some kind of a luxury that from that store you're able to purchase more better food and goods. And that over here is a magnificent medieval building. That you see that the plaster is not uneven, and the wheel over the door is magnificent and seen some centuries. When you look up, you can see that there's this old thing where they used to hang the goods and lift it up from the window. So it's a beautiful house that I think anyone would desire to live in it. This towerscape is beautiful. On the rightmost tower, would you imagine having an observatory or just living there and writing a book or contemplating about life? It would be such privilege and pleasure. And the house in front of me that I was talking about the prices. So 25 years ago, this medieval mansion cost around 10,000, 15,000 euros. My father was actually going to purchase it, but then some juridical problems happened and he never purchased it. And nowadays it will cost millions and millions of euros. It's such a pleasure to walk over here and you see the arches hovering over you. And here's the Dragon Inn. Here you can have 2 foods they have written, and actually they are offering reindeer pies from the reindeer meat. But there's a contradiction because in this country there are no reindeers. And here's such a small door for small people, I reckon. And here's a memoriam of Beavis and Butthead. No, sorry, Boris Yeltsin, who was the first king of independent Russia. And here's something beautiful. the stone walls of a city that was never conquered, never taken away. And if you can see, the stonework nowadays restored is beautiful. In my opinion, the best idea is to build some houses and walls to the natural occurring cliffs. That's just the beauty of this architecture. And another thing, when you have natural fortifications, then actually this town or a city was an old Viking fortification, and around 1200 the Danes came over here and conquered the city, and it was called Reval, and nowadays it's called Tallinn, the Daneborg. It comes from the name of the Dane city, Daneborg, Tallinn. But it used to be an old Viking fortress, the Finnic Vikings, who actually were the ones who colonized the modern Ukraine and went even to the Istanbul. This land was the richest in the northern Europe for many, many centuries. The silver that we find from the soil, it's huge amounts of Arabian and Byzantium coins, etc. So this place was also cherished as a Viking stronghold. But sadly, the Germanic historians came here and they told, oh, there was nothing before the Crusaders came. So sadly, the history has been modified for the sake of the conquerors. And they have forgotten the great Dragonland and the Hyperborean roots that we used to have once upon a time in here, not in Hollywood, but here. And there you can see the church, and the church behind the watchtower was the tallest building in the whole Europe. It was even higher than that building in Vatican. It was prohibited, but they still built it. So there's again formerly the tallest building in Europe, Pika Hermanni Kirik, the Church of Saint German, the door. I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you soon. Please subscribe and have a nice time. Goodbye. This is one of my favorite architectural wonders of the modern times. It's like Mordor. You're approaching Tall Kultur or any other settlement or a castle in Mordor. It seems terrifying, but at the same time, you understand the grace and the loving kindness of Sauron, who is waiting for you amidst his ranks, that he could have nice time with you and other orcs. This is a townhouse. A town hall, actually. Full of magnificence and full of poetry. Those grey ceilings and paintings, they represent an era of modern architecture full of new kind of hope that you never expected before in your life. That's funny that there's a lot of paintings of women over here. And here's the aesthetic town square. Some may like it, some may hate it. It depends. But I really love this town hall.